Welcome to Trashmagination, a podcast about reimagining trash. I'm Carla Brown. In today's episode, we're going to talk about creative reuse of holiday cards. Here's a quiz to test your knowledge about holiday and greeting cards. So first, true or false? All holiday cards can go in the paper recycling. And the answer is false. Here are examples of holiday cards that should not go in the paper recycling. That would be cards with foil or glitter, felt or fabric cutouts on them, cards printed on photo paper, and cards with battery-operated devices that play music or sounds or light up with LED lights. And I'm going to talk about each of those in this episode. Here's a multiple choice question. Americans purchase this many greeting cards per year: 1 billion, 3 billion, 7 billion, or 10 billion. And the answer is 7 billion cards per year in the United States alone, according to the Greeting Card Association in 2018. So true or false, there is no way to reuse holiday cards except to make crafts from them. And the answer is false. There are organizations who accept the fronts of cards in order to make them into new cards. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. And then true or false, holiday cards can be a source of e-waste or tech waste. And I alluded to that earlier. The answer is true. If they contain a small circuit board to play a song or light an LED, those components need to be recycled with an e-waste vendor. And sometimes they contain batteries, which often need to be recycled in a specific program in your community. Or maybe you can reuse them in your watch or hearing aid. So in today's episode, we'll talk about places where you can send your holiday cards for creative reuse, as well as lots of fun projects you can make. And we'll talk about ways to display your holiday cards as well. So first, where can you send recycled holiday cards? So there are programs that take the fronts of the cards, assuming that there's nothing written on the back of those fronts. And the best known program is run by St. Jude's Hospital in Nevada. And I will link to their program page, which includes their address. And this is a job creation program for teens at the hospital. Now, in the United Kingdom, Sainsbury's has an annual holiday card collection program from the end of December to mid-January, and they've been doing this program for quite a few years. So based on the number of cards that get donated, they make a financial donation to the Forest Stewardship Council of the United Kingdom. And in 2017, they gathered 98 tons of holiday cards, and they also take wrapping paper. Also in the United Kingdom, there is a program called Community Cards, where seniors make new cards from old ones, and then they sell them for 50 pence each at community centres. And this program has made almost £15,000 since 2013. There is a program called Cards for Soldiers, which sends handmade, blank cards, and signed cards. And these can be Christmas cards, thank you cards, and get well cards. And these are sent to deployed units or service members overseas. And what happens is the soldiers use these cards to write their own family and friends while they are away. Or, of course, if you send the ones that are signed, they receive your good wishes. So you can take your used holiday or other greeting cards and remake them into blank ones and then mail them to Cards for Soldiers. They ask that you also supply an envelope for each card, or if you don't have that, you can make a donation. They also specify that no glitter should be on the cards because it can fall off onto the soldiers and make them more visible at night or in battle. You can also donate your cards to people who offer recycled art workshops. This might include your local creative reuse center. There's an organization called Earth Inspired Crafts and Education in Allen, Texas, and they specifically run workshops with projects based on recycled cards. You can check with your local art teachers and daycare centers to see if they would like the front of your cards for crafting. While most holiday and greeting cards do not have any monetary value once they're used, you might find a market for vintage cards. And I will link to some articles about that, including what types of cards are in demand by collectors. Holiday and greeting cards can also sometimes be valuable for family historians or genealogists. They can look at the notes in the cards for clues about family connections, and they can be a nice addition to a family history scrapbook. So next, we'll talk about crafts that you can make with holiday cards. All of these projects are featured on the Trashmagination Pinterest board. The most commonly suggested idea to creatively reuse holiday cards is to make gift labels, and that's a great idea. But here's a fun variation on that idea. Rather than just cutting the gift cards into a rectangle, you could cut the gift cards in the shape of large letters or monograms. So in our family, for example, each of us have a name that starts with a different letter. So if we make the gift cards cut in these big letters, then we can tell at a glance who should receive the gift. Now, some people use holiday cards to actually wrap their presents. There are many tutorials that show you how to fold them into little gift boxes. Other great holiday decorations include garlands, wreaths, ornaments, and placemats. My favorite holiday card garland involves cutting circles from the cards and then gluing them into globe shapes around a string. And my favorite wreath idea involves cutting holly shapes from the cards and then attaching them to a circular shape. And some crafts will say a styrofoam circle, but I feel like you could do this with recycled cardboard. Another fun holiday idea is to make the cards into little houses and then sit them on a mantle or shelf. You can cut out the windows and you could put a string of holiday lights underneath so it looks pretty magical. One type of holiday card that is more challenging to creatively reuse are the ones that come with people's photos on them. Now, I tend to put these in my photo album, but if you don't do photo albums, what can you do with them? They are often printed on photo paper, which really should not go in your paper recycling. Here are some fun project ideas. You can make placemats, place cards, or bookmarks with your friends and family's photos on them. This could really personalize your holiday table if people look for a place card with their own photo on it. And you can also make ornaments from those photo cards, so your tree is filled with the faces of the people you love. Here's an idea to engage your family in a gratitude practice over the holidays. You can make a wish or gratitude tree. You take a bunch of branches and put them in a vase, and then you take the front of a holiday card and you punch a hole in it and hang it up with a string or ribbon. At an event like a holiday party or dinner, people write a wish for the new year on each card, or they could write a note of gratitude for something that happened this past year. This could be such a fun idea as an engagement activity at your holiday party. And you could even bring it with you as a gift when you are attending someone else's party. Another holiday tradition is the Advent calendar, and I did a whole podcast episode last year on making Advent calendars from creatively reused materials. So Craftastica showed how they made little envelopes from holiday cards to make their Advent calendar, and it's very cute and it hangs on the back of a door. Some families have a tradition of a card book. To make a card book, you get 3 or 4 binder rings, you punch holes in the cards, and then you put the cards on the rings. And this allows you to have all your cards displayed in one spot. One of the few fiber crafts that I have not done is crocheting, but there are wonderful holiday card reuse projects for those who love to crochet. I especially love these ornaments where you punch holes around the edges of a card and then you crochet a nice lacy trim all around it. It's quite beautiful and often done with vintage cards. Another crochet project that I love is to make a holiday craft bowl by attaching the cards together in kind of like a hexagon circle shape. And I would check out the photos for this. It was designed by the blog My So-Called Crafty Life. So have you ever received one of those cards that plays music or other sounds when you open them up, or they show LED lights? Now, those cards definitely should not go in paper recycling. I found a tutorial for how to reuse those parts into fun projects. The most important thing is to not cut any of the wires when you are removing the components from the card. And this could be a fun way to learn and teach about electronics. So lastly, I'll talk about displaying holiday cards with creative reuse projects. On the Trashmagination Pinterest board, I have links to all of these project ideas, and I also show some display ideas. And these involve a ladder, or you take a large frame and put ribbons across it. You could also do this with scrap wood and little clips. And then finally, there's a cute design that involves taking a holiday plate and then sticking clothespins around the edge. So thank you so much for listening. I would love to hear what you think about creative reuse of holiday cards. If you could email me at trashmagination@gmail.com or leave a message on my Facebook or Instagram. I wish happy holidays to everyone. This was the 66th episode of Trashmagination, and I just passed 5,000 downloads, and I look forward to making many more episodes in 2019. Until next time, may you see holiday and greeting cards as a source of art in your life.